Hey, psst, hi, you're amazing. Just wanted to let y'all know that. Hello everyone, it's me, Thinkafurr. It's been quite a hot minute since uploading semi-consistently, which was, when was that? Oh, it was right around Zelda Tears of the Kingdom's release. Now, if you know me, my channel, and my content well enough, not that it actually matters if you're new or not, you'll know that I like to get thonky with it and explore thought-provoking ideas and theories, regardless of how many holes they may have. You see, it's fun to see where they lead. So, today I have for you not one, but many such thought-provoking ideas, or better put, 3 thought-provoking theories for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and I hope we can all have a wholesome, safe time exploring them in the comments section and our Discord server together. Having said that, I think the true spirit or essence of videos like this is to ask questions, to talk freely and discuss and have a laugh, a good time if you will, and in due course. Maybe even return to these theories in the future individually in larger videos. So thinkers, grab a chair, chug that thonk juice because it's time for multiple tangential tales, each more thought-provoking than the last. So, let's dive headfirst into this. So for our first theory, what if the world of Pokemon was actually a simulated reality inside a bigger Pokeball? Quite a funny thought, really. Exploring this idea, it leaves me some very interesting possibilities. For starters, there's the chicken or the egg problem with Arceus creating the universe. For Arceus to exist to create the universe, he had to, of course, come from an egg, and at that point, the egg existed. What was the given state of reality around the egg? Well, one answer is simple. Perhaps the egg Arceus came from was actually a huge, cosmically scaled Pokeball. Maybe perhaps within that Pokeball, Arceus would dictate reality? And to go outside the Pokeball itself is perhaps to go beyond this universe or into a different layer of reality. Maybe that's where Scarlet Violet really fits into this idea, and perhaps it's where Terrapagos also comes into play. In part 2 of Scarlet and Violet's DLC, looking at the logo from Blueberry Academy, it's a Pokeball clearly in concept, but it has the infinity sign as its base shape. Then we have more of this symbol highlighted in red with the smaller portion highlighted in white. Then we also see the crown of Terrapagos on either side of this Pokeball infinity loop on both the red end and the white ends. What if this symbolizes the connection between the physical universe of Pokemon and perhaps the dream world in which the Paradox Pokemon supposedly come from? Bearing in mind, Paradoxmon's dreamed up is also a theory as well. Perhaps adding another layer to this strange theory is that maybe the crown of Terrapagos on either end isn't just a crown, but instead representative of a portal. An entry and/or exit from either end of these realities. Either way, it's an idea that intrigues and certainly one I'd like to return to. That said, let's move on to the next one. Blueberry Academy's terrarium is really just a simulation of a land-based environment beneath the sea, and whilst visibly run by an aquatic-based land society of humans, could have been built for the intentions of a singular Pokemon deity. Perhaps it's a testing ground for Terrapagos kept within the confines of what is effectively the equivalent of an aquarium under the sea. Now this theory is interesting, but I do feel like it needs to branch into at least 3 separate videos, and it really does need some explaining for such an abstract idea. So at the very least, let's start with the terrarium. The terrarium itself is the exact opposite to an aquarium. Now most of us already know this, but an aquarium exists in a mostly land-based space to create a habitable enclosed living space for aquatic life. Now, in opposition of this, a terrarium is literally a living space for a land-based life enclosed in a surrounding body of water. It's quite literally in the names themselves. Terra in terrarium represents earth. Aqua in aquarium represents water. Now, looking at this laterally, the principle of an aquarium is, as said earlier, to create a functional aquatic habitat for aquatic life to live, and in one sense, this can be viewed or argued as a simulation. So with that said, you can sort of see where this idea argues for the terrarium being a simulation. Now, here's where this idea gets very fun and a little bit on the wild speculative side if it isn't already. But what if Blueberry Academy is partially being run by humans, but at its core, run by Terrapagos, the entity within the book written by Heath, and utilized of course by the player character as well, along with Professor Turo and Sada. But putting all that aside, what's weird is that there's a lot of water in Area Zero's heart, surrounding the entrance to the lab. And adding another layer to this, the lab looks weirdly like it's meant to process a lot of things, but liquid is definitely something that really comes to mind upon observation. What if the power of Terrastal, the machine built atop Terrapagos' chamber, and the Blueberry Academy are all linked to the ocean in some way or another, and the terrarium itself really is a space in which Terrapagos can utilize it in some way or another for its own ends? A fun trail of thought, one that leads to our next theory. So, theory number 3. What if the Paradox Pokemon are dreamed nightmares created by Terrapagos, the alleged entity theorized to be within Heath's book, and that perhaps this giant dream turtle eldritch entity had drawn inspiration from the mind of the professors when creating the Paradox Pokemon? Now, this is a very deep theory, one that I've explored, and yet I still feel like there's so much left to talk about. As far as evidence for this theory is concerned, well, within the game, the evidence can be derived directly from the themes. Scarlet is set within themes that are from the distant past, and Violet is set from themes that are from the distant future. Pokemon Scarlet has a professor, Sada, who's obsessed about time traveling to the distant past, whilst Pokemon Violet has a professor named Turo, who is instead obsessed about time traveling to the distant future. Now, I think it's important to pause here and put ourselves in the shoes of the professors and ask a few questions. If we subscribe to the idea that the entity controlled the minds of the professors whilst also offering to grant the professors their deepest desires within the power of Terrastal, something with which eldritch entities are known for, well, then the idea of Paradox Pokemon being dreamed up creations from another dream world feels really intriguing. Let me give you some context. You see, within the lore of eldritch horrors exists a being whose size is cosmically on a scale that is truly unfathomable. The name of this being or eldritch entity beyond scales we can perceive is known as Azathoth. Now, I've spoken at extreme length about Azathoth in these videos up in the top right here, and its connection to Terrapagos, but to briefly tie it all back to this theory, Azathoth sleeps in the waking world. A world outside the universe you and I live within. The universe or reality that we live in is the dream world of Azathoth, and should this being ever truly awaken, it would end all of reality. The cool thing is, or should I say the whole point of this is, Azathoth influenced his dream world, the universe, with his own dream creations. Nightmarish creatures beyond all imagination. The Lovecraftian lore or Eldritch Lore, however you want to call it, either way, it parallels the idea of Terrapagos creating the Paradox Pokemon from its own imagination and from the aspirational thoughts of the past or future of the professors whom Terrapagos, the entity, had contact with, at least according to this theory. And like all theories, it's all subjective, and we should always try to keep an open mind and Thonk safe. Right, thinkers? And with that, we pave our way for future videos exploring fun, unique, sometimes completely out there ideas and theories for Pokemon. That and Zelda and Five Nights at Freddy's and other variety theories. If you liked this video, be sure to subscribe and leave a comment. Tell me your own thoughts. Who knows, they might feature in the next video for this series. Also, be sure to join our Discord server and join our esteemed community of wholesome and chaotic thinkers. Now, with all that wrapped up, have yourselves a big-brained, thonky day, thinkers, and be sure to think safe out there. Bye-bye!